926-3753-1042. For the required password, contact public testimony at newhavenct.gov. Order authorizing the mayor accepting funds from the Yale University and contrast a sidewalk on the north side of Pearl Street, west of Orange Street, west of Orange Street. Order of the Board of Alders of the City of New Haven authorizing the City of New Haven to convey those properties known as 29 Kissington Street, 17 Kissington Street, 21 Kissington Street, 33 Kissington Street, and 25 Kissington Street to the community builders for the proposal of the construction of affordable housing and authorizing the mayor of the City of New Haven to execute and deliver any and all documents to complete such conveyance in accordance with the provisions of these audit and approving the substitution of park properties. These items are on file and available in the City Town Clerk, 200 Orange Street, Room 202, New Haven. Per order, Honorable Brian Wingate. Chair, Honorable Michael B. Smart, City Clerk. For disability-related accommodations, please call 203-946-7833 or 203-946-8582, at least prior to the meeting. Public can view the meeting at http://bit.ly2f16ftz and telephone at 888-475-4499 and interweb ID 926-3753-1042. 4. The requirement password. Contact public testimony, New Haven, ct.gov. If you wish to present testimony at the meeting, you must register in advance at https://bit.ly/2f16ftz or by calling 203-946-7934 before 2 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Public comment testimony must be also submitted via email to public testimony, newhavenct.gov before 2 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Thank you. Now we will start our meeting, and I will ask my committee, starting with my vice chair, to introduce themselves.
Good evening, Frank Douglas, Vice Chair, Community Development, Ward 2, New Haven, Connecticut, 570 Elm Street.
South Dakota, Ward 18.
Alder Rodriguez, Ward 6.
Hello, Order Jill Marks, Ward 28.
Thank you. I will acknowledge other alders that's in on the Zoom meeting now. I have Alder Abby Ross. I have Madam President, Alder Taisha Walker Myers. And we have two items that we will be looking at tonight. The first item is the sidewalk from Yale University. And anyone who's speaking to this item can come up and speak now. Who? Okay.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Alderman Gay. Thank you.
My name is Karen King. I represent the Office of New Haven Affairs at Yale University. I just want to make a statement for the record that Yale University is donating $50,000 toward the construction of a sidewalk on the north side of Pearl Street to support the city's efforts to ensure pedestrian safety at that location.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee or orders? First, we will ask the committee to ask questions, so we will have them go first, if there's any. And I want to do that by show of hands. So from the committee, there
I
is,
have.
go ahead, Alder Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have a question, but I'd like to thank Yale University for their generous contribution in helping us up with our funding for the sidewalks. Karen King, thank you very much. Yale University. Come on, do more. We know we got a lot of sidewalks that need to be repaired. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Alder. Are there any more questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, I will invite any other alders if they have any questions or comments on this particular item. You can do so. Alder Roth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I believe, I just want to make sure Giovanni's in, the city engineer is not on the call, because I think he was going to, I know he submitted the communication and I think he had planned to just tell a little bit of the background, but if he, oh, he's texting me and saying he can't get in to the Zoom. The password's not working.
I will email him all the Roth, so go ahead.
Okay, sure. Well, I guess first of all, thank you all for hearing this item, and I too am appreciative of Yale for this, wanting to make this contribution. This has been a long-standing issue that I've heard from constituents about. When the Yale School of Management building opened, it has a sidewalk, a driveway in the back that sort of feeds into the middle of Pearl Street, leading pedestrians to walk in the middle of Pearl Street, which also, once you hit Lincoln Street, has traffic and actually has a lot of cut-through traffic of people trying to avoid Orange Street. And I believe someone, a student is on the call, a former student, she graduated, who was hit by a car over about a year and a half ago. And when that happened, that was something I had heard for some time, neighbors concerned about the safety in that area, just because there's such a combination of cars and so many pedestrians cutting through, many of whom it's really a gateway to the Yale campus for people coming from East Rock. And so having this donation would enable this sidewalk to get built and just make an area much safer that is a place people have a lot of concern about. I was wondering if I could just briefly also read a letter that I think you should have gotten in your packet, but in case you didn't get a chance to see it, from a constituent who lives on Pearl Street. If it's possible to read that, but if you all received it from Lorena Mitchell, I don't need to read it, but if you haven't had a chance, I'd be happy to read that.
It's okay.
To read it? Thank
Yes.
you. To members of the Community Development Committee, I'm writing in enthusiastic support of the Pearl Street sidewalk proposal to connect Orange Street to the Yale School of Management pathway. Living at the corner of Orange and Pearl Street, I use this stretch of walkway daily, along with hundreds of other people, including School of Management students, East Rock neighbors, and Blue Street Cafe patrons. Pedestrians can often be found walking in the middle of the street, as noted in multiple East Rock Community Management Team meetings and on at least one SeeClickFix post viewed 1,510 times. Currently, the pathway exiting SOM empties directly into the middle of the street, encouraging pedestrians to continue walking there. A sidewalk on the north side of the street would provide a clear transition to the SOM walkway to Orange Street. Giving pedestrians a safe, designated place to walk makes our streets safer for everyone, drivers, bikers, and especially pedestrians. That Yale is assisting with the cost of construction is an added benefit to this project, and I fully support the city accepting its financial support. Just one more sentence. Our city has seen too many traffic fatalities this year. Providing better infrastructure for pedestrians, cyclists, and other vulnerable users like this Pearl Street sidewalk proposal is one small step forward, demonstrating that we prioritize safety for all. Sincerely, Lorena Mitchell. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Roth. Is there any more testimony to this particular item? I believe Giovanni having some technical difficulties, so just in the spirit of time, we have a robust item coming up. I'm gonna ask if there's any more public testimony on this item. Going once.
Nope, we got Catherine. Where's Catherine? Hang on, sir.
Can't see that.
Catherine Catch said she
Okay.
was to speak.
Okay.
And
Hi, good evening. Thank you all for being here. My name is Catherine Katna. I am a graduated student from the Yale School of Management. And as Abby mentioned, I was actually the student that was struck by a vehicle at this intersection. So I wanted to—
Before you start, please state your name and address for the record before you start, please.
Yes, Catherine Katna. My address is 77 West 24th Street, New York, New York, 1010.
Thank you.
So I wanted to just give my support to this arrangement, as I was incredibly fortunate in the incident to have very minor injuries. However, as a number of members have noted from the community and also from the student body, this has been an unsafe intersection for a number of years. This has been a priority for students, members of student government, and also members of the community. And so I remain incredibly hopeful that we're able to come to a resolution on it this evening and ensure that there are no further incidents at that intersection. I think that anyone that has been down that street will have seen a near miss. There are far too many cases, and I hope that I can serve as the sort of final push to, now that a student has been struck at the intersection, and I was incredibly fortunate, but I hope to make sure that there are no further incidents there and ensure the safety of the community and the student body alike.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do anyone from the committee has any questions or comments to Catherine?
next up.
Seeing none, thank you. Thank you, and I'm glad that you safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Will Vanderbilt next up.
Okay.
Thank you so much for recognizing me and giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Will Vanderbilt. My address right now is 4525 Quieto Court in Denver, Colorado. I recently moved from New Haven. I lived at 1050 State Street and also at Orange and Linden for approximately 3 years. And I was a graduate of the School of Management in 2020. And I really do support this sidewalk. You know, that stretch of Pearl Street is such an important gateway to campus, not only for people coming from or to SOM, but also to the rest of you know, the entire campus community. There's really no way to get through with the Lawn Club and the School of Management for almost 2 more blocks. And you know, I really valued all the pedestrian and the cycling infrastructure in East Rock while I lived there. I rode my bike to campus and also walked almost every single day. And you know, I think this small stretch is just such an odd gap in that overall really nice set of options for getting to school. As well, I personally just experienced a lot of the confusion going up this street. As I approach on a bike, often there would be students in the middle of the street. I would, have to get off well before the actual pedestrian walkway that goes up the hill toward campus. And I think just having some clarity on that one block with the sidewalk on the northbound side would make a huge difference in that confusion. And as a pedestrian, a sidewalk on the north side really does just make a lot of sense, given how many folks live up Orange and on the streets off of Orange and commute right through that path on their way in. And so instead of having to cross over to the south side of the street and then cross back again to get on the sidewalk on Orange going north toward East Rock, it just make a ton more sense to have a sidewalk on the north-hand side, so that folks would actually use it. We know people actually follow the things that are there for them. So thank you so much again for considering me, and I appreciate the push to get this done.
Thank you for your testimony. I will ask, are there anyone from the committee have a question or comment to, he just left. Okay, so I see you, Alder Douglas.
Sorry, I'm still here. Nope, my phone was just.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am just wondering if Alder Richard Furlow is in the audience, if he's on the call. Alder
Yes,
Richard
I'm here.
Furlow. Through the chair, Mr. Chair, if Alder Furlow can maybe comment on this item through the fact that Mr. Zinn is not here. I understand. I know we.
Mr. Zinn is here.
Oh, okay. There you are. All right.
Yes,
Thank
he
you.
is.
Excuse my interruption. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I
Thank
will
you.
yield to Mr. Zinn.
Okay. All right, we have Mr. Vanderbilt still at the table, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. I will ask again, is there anyone from the committee would like to have a question or comment to Mr. Vanderbilt? Seeing none, we did have hands raised before.
Well, we got a couple more people,
Yes,
Mr. Chair. Hang on a second. Mr. Grammelsucker.
okay. Please state your name and address for the record before you speak.
Yeah, my name is Joe Grommelsbacher. My address is 30 Nash Street, New Haven, Connecticut. Thank you, Alder Wingate, members of the committee. Very grateful for the committee's consideration of this important matter when there's an incredibly important matter of affordable housing on your agenda this evening, so I'll be brief. I'm a current student at the Yale School of Management, and I use the Pearl Street intersection and that gateway as a key access point to the Yale campus on a regular basis. As a cyclist, this is a particularly challenging intersection as the interactions between pedestrians, cyclists, and motor vehicles are not well delineated or safe for any of those modes of transportation at this time. So very grateful for your consideration of this matter, the acceptance of funds from Yale University, and the contribution of funds from the city of New Haven to this incredibly important project. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. I will ask, is there anyone from the committee have any questions or comments to Joe? Seeing none, we will go to the next person that wants to testify on this particular item. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Heck.
Hi there. I'm assuming you just called my name. It went blank for a second.
Okay, just name and address for the record.
Okay. My name is Julia Frederick, and my address is 516 Orange Street, New Haven. So I live at the corner of Orange and Pearl Street. I'm also a student at the Yale School of Management and at the Yale School of Public Health, and I'm our current student body president for the School of Management. Thank you for having me and some of my fellow students and alums here today. I also will keep it brief and just want to add my support for this project. Living on this corner, I see students and neighbors walking up and down Pearl Street all of the time, kind of getting in potential harm's way and having to jump out of the street as cars turn. I think because it's such a quiet road, usually students and other neighbors often think that, you know, that they'll be safe walking down that street. And as other SOM students have said, you know, there's a lot of traffic coming from the north that makes it less likely for folks to cross the street to the other side. As I've spoken with a lot of students ahead of this, everyone thinks that this effort is a no-brainer. There were a number of others who were willing to speak at this hearing. So really appreciate you having a few of us join today and hope you'll be able to move forward with this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there anyone from the committee like to have a question or comment to Julie on this item? Seeing none, thank you again for your testimony.
As the city engineer has his hand up, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Giovanni Zinn, city engineer for the city of New Haven. I reside at 95 Soundview Terrace. I want to start by apologizing to everyone for being late. I had extensive troubles getting connected here. And I want to thank all of you who actually emailed me the login info. It all suddenly spit into my inbox at the same time. So clearly I was having email issues as well. So I believe probably people have covered the bulk of this. The action before you is twofold. It's to both accept the contribution of $50,000 from Yale University, and it is also to approve the installation of a sidewalk on the north side of Pearl Street. The Resource Allocation Committee also has discussed and taken up this item, especially with relation to the city funds of approximately $40,000 that we are adding as well. This is a long-standing complete streets request. It is in an area of particularly high pedestrian intensity. You know, I think it's a definite public safety improvement and a much needed one to install the sidewalk on the north side of the street. So I don't want to belabor too many points that other people have made. So if at this point, Mr. Chair, if appropriate, I'd be happy to take questions.
Thank you, Giovanni Zinn, for your testimony. I will ask anyone from the committee has a question or comment on this particular item. Please speak now. We're seeing none.
All right, we have two other hands up, Mr. Chair. Not sure if they want to speak on this item. Let's find out. Mr. Rankin, are you speaking on the sidewalk item?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can.
Great. My name is Bill Rankin, address 27 Lincoln Street, New Haven. I'm the current vice president of the Lincoln Bradley Neighborhood Association. And I'm here to speak in strong support of the sidewalk. I've lived on Lincoln Street, right around the corner from Pearl Street for 6 years now. And I would say that this kind of traffic calming on Pearl Street has been a constant concern for the neighborhood association since the entire time I've lived here. I've talked to many of my neighbors about it, and I think there's an overwhelming universal support for not just traffic calming in general, but for this particular sidewalk project in particular. So I don't have anything else to add. I'll be brief, except to say the neighborhood is in support of this as well. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. Are there anyone from the committee would want to have any questions or comments on this to Mr. Bill right now? Seeing none, thank you again. I think we have one more hand raised. Two more.
Monday?
I believe it's Richard.
Thank you very much. This is Richard Monday. I'm at 59 Lincoln Street in New Haven. My house is on the corner of Lincoln Street and Pearl Street for many years now, perhaps 15 years. My family and I have watched cyclists, pedestrians, cars, trucks find themselves very confused about where to be and what to do when they are walking between Orange Street and Lincoln Street. To install a sidewalk on the north side of Pearl Street is to fix a gap in the city's infrastructure. And I think that it will help very much in making the street a safer space. And so accordingly, I very much support this initiative by the city, and I appreciate the contribution that Yale is proposing to make as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the committee? Thank you. Seeing none, thank you once again for your testimony. Who is next?
I do not see any more hands raised for this item.
Okay.
At this time, there is one. Is this Mr. Surfalipi? Are you interested in talking about this item, Mr. Surfalipi?
Really quickly, if I could, if you can hear me. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
We can hear you fine, sir. This is on the Pearl Street sidewalk.
Yeah, on the Pearl Street sidewalk, I think it's very important. I support the initiative, but I also think that the city needs to take a look at traffic enforcement as well. And so if you look at motor vehicle stops in the city, they're down like 70% year over year. So, you know, we can have a lot of traffic calming initiatives like this, sidewalks, bike lanes, bump outs, et cetera. But until the drivers realize or think that they might get pulled over for speeding, running red lights, going right on red, we're going to continue to see the fatalities, the pedestrian and cyclist fatalities. And I don't know for the life of me why in this city it's a traffic free-for-all. I don't know if it's because we don't have enough police, if it's not a focus of the police, but that's my opinion on the matter, and I thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, I'm gonna make a motion to close the public portion on this particular item. Going once, going twice, 3 times. A motion.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion of this.
On just this item?
Yes.
On just this item.
Okay. You just need a colleague to second that, Mr. Chair.
I second that.
All right. Now you all can vote on that, Mr. Chair.
So can we vote on closing the public portion?
On item 1?
On item 1.
Just call the roll.
Yeah, we'll call the roll. Alder Douglas.
Yes. Close the public portion.
We just want to make sure people know all the facts.
Alder Marks.
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez.
Yes.
Alder Cupo. Alder DeCola.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
The public portion is closed on item 1. Now, as we go to item 2, as we have a large group that want to participate in this next conversation, I would ask everyone to please keep their comments to 2 minutes, please. We saw last night how 2 minutes can be stretched. So we want to respectfully have people speak, and please speak to the item that's before us. Please keep your comments remain to the item that is before us. And this is about the Kitchener Street conveyance, please speak to those so all the Wingate kids still smile and be happy and not go off and use my gavel, right? So I'm asking, that we be mindful of these 2 minutes. If something that is germane to the conversation, I will ask them to come back up. And at this present time, I'm going to ask our I don't even know how to start. I want to say a colleague, a friend, somebody I really respect, to come up. A real loss to the city of New Haven, in my perspective. Our director, LCI, please come up and speak to this item.
Good evening, everybody. I thank you for letting us appear before you tonight to address this item. It has been a long time getting this to you, so we're hoping that we will move forward. I just want to say that it's almost been 7 years to the day that I appeared before you as a consultant on the Hilda Downtown Plan, and this has been my committee in terms of getting the work done. We have been since October working alongside the Parks Department and the Parks Commission to come to a resolution on an approval for this swap. And in August of 2020, the Parks Commission approved this swap. However, there was an amendment to the original submission that we presented to you in June, on June 25th. And we're asking that an amendment to this item be made that will allow for the removal of 224 Shelton Avenue and replace it with 100-102 Shelton Avenue in accordance with the Parks Commission's approval. We've attached that and you should have it as a part of your packet, but wanted to put that on the table first as an amendment. I don't know if we.
Say that again. Say that last part again.
We wanted to, we asked, submitted on the September 21st that if we have asked for a request to amend our original item to include the changes that I just discussed, a swap for a change of 224 Shelton Avenue and replace it with 100-102 Shelton Avenue in accordance with the Park Commission approval.
Okay. We would discuss that in deliberations when we get to that point, okay?
That's fine. Thank you again. I want to be brief because, as you said, I'm sure there's a lot of folks waiting to speak, but we are submitting this request as a part of a long-standing overall strategy for the Dwight area. We started with work that was completed with the gardens and with Dwight Gardens, a project that had been stalled and delayed for many, many years. We moved forward and got the funding for that, as well as the property is now almost 100% leased up. It is an affordable project with a stack of affordable units from 50% to 80%. We worked very closely with the Carabetta Group to redevelop the Antillean Manor. Those of you that know Dwight know that it's has been one of our longstanding, over 60 years old properties that really had been in disrepair and needed some work. They are doing relocation now of those tenants, and they are going into full construction on a new development there with 60 units. Thirdly, we have worked with TCB and the neighborhood, members of the neighborhood Greater Dwight Development Corporation and the community management team and the leadership of that neighborhood to do phase 2 of Kensington Square. They completed Kensington phase 1 in 2017. There were more than 100 units completed at that time. which left 96 or so that still needed to be completely renovated, as well as amenities done to the site itself and their offices that are located on Chapel Street. And this phase of the development will take that development to a completely different level. They have secured all of the funding with our help, the city's help, the state's help, and it is a $30 million project. What we're seeking to do here is, there is a park, Kensington Park, that is located in between Antilian Manor and Kensington Square that has lain dormant for a couple of years. I understand that there has been some utilization. I understand that folks use it on occasion. However, it has for many years been basically abandoned and unused. More than a year ago, we entered into the discussions with the parks director, and she said this is something that they had not sought to put any additional resources in. And the land, a portion of that land is parkland. The rest of it is city properties where houses were torn down years ago and nothing else was ever done with it. So where we came up with the swap was we would take that property, dispose of it to TCB for them to build a brand new building with 15 new affordable units that would come online and be a part of the Kensington Square site, with the new renovations that are going on the Kensington site, as well as the new construction of this building. So our swap is basically to allow for the new building to be built. Part of that is in our agreement with the Parks Commission. They will take on the list of properties that you have in your packet that will include Winchester Avenue 506 in an area where they don't have as much parkland and they are interested in trying to build their portfolio with some. 102 Shelton Avenue, 16 Thompson Street, and I think it's 24 Thompson Street. We're proposing to trade or swap 0.57 acres of land at the Kensington Street site for more than 7.772 acres of land that will be gained by the Park Commission, all of which will be redone and renovated for park use. In addition to that, there's a park on Day Street and Chapel that is directly adjacent to all of those developments. Dwight Gardens, Antilian Manor, and Kensington, that TCB has agreed to improve with new amenities. In your package, you'll see some of the drawings and renderings that they have put together for that park, as well as doing renovations to the Garden Street Park. With all of that, I have to say that this has been more than 2 years of meetings, presentations, discussions, negotiations with TCB, with the community. We had several presentations at the community management team, and you all know that is where most of the work that I do or have done in the city starts. I start with the leadership, I move to the community, and over the years I have participated in 3 presentations to that management team on this project. Not once, outside of recommendations that we clearly heard and put into this project, did we have any opposition. So it's very, very, I'm actually shocked that we now have opposition to this particular project. But with all that being said, I understand the concerns. I understand that we need green space here in the city. We are proposing to double the green space with this swap. We are prepared to improve those parks that we create as a part of this land swap. And most importantly, bring on new affordable units for our residents in this city. It has been a long time coming. It took us nearly 9 months to get through the Park Commission because they didn't want to do it, be frank. To be honest, they feel, and we understood that, and we worked with them diligently to make sure that they felt comfortable with what we were proposing and got to a place where they said, this is a good thing to do. We feel it is the best thing to do, the best thing to bring 2 to 3 blocks of Dwight, the Dwight neighborhood, into a transformation that we've been working on for more than 5 years. I appreciate your listening to me. I will entertain any questions you have regarding this item.
So before I ask the committee to have any statements or questions, I just want everyone to know that we got a lot of written testimony on this particular item tonight. So we will be posting them all on the website so everyone could be heard today. So we will be posting the written testimony on the website today. So thank you for your presentation.
Yes, sir.
And I will ask the committee for those who have questions or comments to Serena by raise of hands, please. There are no questions or comments from the committee. Okay. But thank you once again for your presentation. We're gonna move, I guess. You the only one speaking tonight?
Yes, sir, from this, yes.
Okay.
I think
all right.
there are others that are waiting to speak, I'm sure, but I'm the only one from the city that's presenting on this item.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your hard work, your due diligence. It's 7 years. Thank you. I wish it was more. And just hang around for us for a little while.
I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
I'm not going anywhere.
Appreciate working with you. And
Thank you so much, Alder. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for everything that you've helped us do. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely. So at this time, I will start taking testimony from the public.
All right, we have Ms. Anderson. She has the other two behind her.
Okay. So as this goes.
Yes, sorry, I apologize. I got booted off for a second.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record. That's for everyone. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Kristen Anderson. My address is 103 Thornton Street in Hamden. I'm here as a representative of the community builders, but I am currently with a few residents who had pre-registered to provide public comment on the proposal. And I'm wondering if it would be okay with the commission if I turn it over to those with me to provide public comment.
Yes, they state their name and their record for the address.
Thank you.
Also, I would like to acknowledge Alder Winter that is on the call as well, and Alder Richard Furlong.
Take your
Hello, hi, my name is Delisa Tolson. Excuse me while I get a little comfortable. I'm the owner and operator of Advanced Child Care Center, which is at 65 Kensington Street. And I've been there for 20 years. But also too, I grew up in 99 Edgewood on Garden. Been there from age 5 till I was 18, lived in Kensington Square on Orchard and Elm as well. And also, I want to say that I have at my daycare center, we have about 25 to 40 kids on a daily basis, and we don't use that park. And in 20 years, we've never, ever, ever used that park. That park has never been available or accessible to the children in the community or the children to the daycare center because it has a lot of goings on. And I feel that it's a hazard, it's dangerous. I understand people want to save the grass and save the trees. I'm about saving lives. And so therefore, the park is not available to play. There's no swings of any sort. The homeless sleep there. They do drugs there. The dogs crap there. It's totally disgusting, unsafe and unfit. There's needles, there's broken bottles, there's alcohol, there's drug paraphernalia laying around in that space, and that's always been there. Also too, it's also been drive-bys in the area in the broad daytime, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock, While my kids are at my school, these things are going on and they're napping. These things are going on just feet away, within a block away through that park area. So this is not a safe place for kids to play. And even if it was a park there that was saved and they redid it and upgraded it, my thing is, who's going to police this park? Who's going to make sure there's proper lighting, it's open and closed at certain times, homeless not living in there, no one else is in there doing transactions of any sort. I'm about safety. People want to save trees and save lives, save grass. I'm about saving lives, point blank. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Just sticking with the timeline of the 2 minutes. Anybody from the committee have a question or comment for this young lady? All right. Seeing none, who will be next to speak to this particular item from the public? Mr. Lucas?
Is Cesar Layson coming? Okay.
Okay.
If not, we will move on.
Thank you for a testimony.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to Olivia Martin.
Can I get you to say something? No? Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I apologize. Caesar has to step out and is unable to speak right now. He did sign a letter in favor of the project that was submitted as part of the testimony. So I apologize.
No, thank you so much.
So next up on the queue is Miss Olivia Martin.
Yes. Miss Olivia? Miss Olivia, are you ready to speak to this item?
I think she's having technical difficulties. All right, so let's go to Chris Ozick while Olivia gets her technology together.
Wait, you looking back?
Oh, we're starting to hear Martin. Miss Martin. All right, we'll come back to you, Miss Martin. Go ahead, Mr. Ozick.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me? Okay, great. Thank you. I just want, I'm noticing that there's no parks leadership at this meeting.
Please.
And
name and address for the record, please.
Oh yeah, sorry, no problem. Chris Ozick, 603 Quinnipiac Avenue. I've been working with parks for a long time. I was the past president of Elm City Parks Conservancy. You know me as the tree guy around the city. I do all the working with neighborhood groups to improve their parks, but also improve vacant lots and things like that. What I'm concerned about is the precedent of swapping the land. I think the goals of this project are admirable, and I think the thinking behind it probably has merit. What I'm concerned about is the analytics of what the community needs and where those needs are going to be addressed or met. If we took the approach of, because there's crime, because there's poor management, because of these things, we should get rid of parks, we will not have parks in underserved communities. We will only have them in the surrounding more affluent communities. And so we, or you all, are proposing swapping this for vacant parcels that I don't believe any analytics have been done on what is on those parcels in terms of lead and contamination. And is there a plan to improve those? And then what will be the components of those? Will they be passive spaces or will they be active use? So when you look at the distribution of things like playgrounds around the city, you'll start to come to some realizations and which ones work and which ones don't, which ones get the resources by Parks Department. and it can make you really upset. It's not lost on me that Worcester Square itself, the neighborhood, has Worcester Park. And that park is a nice little park with a playground, well-managed, well-maintained, and it's very similar to Kensington Park. And if those same resources had been put into Kensington Park 20 years ago, this conversation would not be happening.
Sure.
I think that there are lots of other places around the city where this affordable housing could be placed. I just question the reason why this space. I would love to see some leadership from Parks. Obviously, we don't have a Parks director anymore. I don't know if we have a voice for Parks in the city right now. I don't know if we have anybody doing any sort of analysis of what the community needs in regards to parks.
So,
Thank you.
okay. Thank you for your testimony, Chris. Does anyone from the committee have a question or comment to Chris? Seeing none, thank you. We will move to our next person to testify.
That was excellent.
So we can hear you. Are you ready to speak, Ms. Martin? Olivia? So who's next? Who's next on the queue to speak to this particular item about the parcel in the park?
Go to Ms. Cummins.
Okay. Ms. Cummings, please. The address for the record.
Great. Hi, good evening. My name is Jane Cummins. I'm videoing into you tonight live from Kensington Playground, 25 Kensington Street. I happen to live at 203 Dwight Street, which is about 2 blocks behind me. I'm here tonight with our community.
Jane, I want you to know you have 2 minutes.
Yes, I know we have 2 minutes. So I just want to point out TCB is a large apartment to my left. Behind me is Antillian Manor, and to my right is another TCB property. And community builders. So I was concerned because a lot of people didn't know that this was going on. And in going out and knocking on doors and in meeting people, I met lots of members of the community. There's children who come into the park every single day after school or during school, actually, with COVID. They're here all winter long. They said they have a little game called Freezing where they sit on a little ice pad here and they hang from the jungle gym. They have nowhere else to play and they're here nonstop. I met a nurse from Yale New Haven Hospital, which is just a block to my left, not even. And he comes here most afternoons just for a moment of quietness and to recover from the frenzy of the office. And then I met a woman from Antillian Manor who comes here with her 3 children because remote learning for 3 elementary age children is almost impossible by one person. So I'm here tonight to tell you, with all of my neighbors here, I hope you can see some of them. Could you step over here so we can get your... But we want to tell you that this park is an important asset, that we need to keep it, that people in the neighborhood use it for potluck dinners, for barbecues, for exercising, for playing. And, you know, a church group is here and they meet here every Sunday during COVID. So anyway, the park is an important asset. Please fix the splash pad. Please don't sell it for $1 to community builders. As Phil is trying to say, we're taxpayers. It's an asset, it needs to be treasured. I want to thank you all for your service, and more importantly, I want to thank the people who've come out here tonight to stand on behalf of the park to save it. A few you're going to hear from, and many of them have never testified to the Board of Alders before. So thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask a question? We have several people with children who would like to speak if we can go out of order from the park. I don't know.
I apologize if they're not on the properly, they cannot speak.
Okay, they're on the list, but just the order. But we'll follow along. You take the lead.
Thank you so much.
How about me?
Hi there.
There's
I'm
Olivia.
Okay, that's Olivia.
I just wanted to make sure that you received the letter from our attorney, Keith Ainsworth. Have you received that document?
Yes, we have the Ainsworth document.
Okay, all right. So one of the things that came up was, you know, they are going to plan to do some renovation on the Chapel and Day Park, which is great. But it's also going to be a loss to the neighborhood to lose this park. So what I would like to do, so it's not a net gain, as when you read the letter from Keith Ainsworth, it's not really a replacement in kind. So one thought that I have is for us to maybe look at some other alternative lots in New Haven. And one of the things that I'd like to bring up is that Community Builders has been in our neighborhood for over 30 years. And the first renovation was really beautiful. It was painted, it had beautiful porches. The second round that came was the renovations were not following the 106 guidelines for historic preservation for the Dwight District. So that was one thing that wasn't good. So what I think we should do is look at this a little differently and see if we can find alternative sites for affordable housing. I made a list of them, but I didn't have a chance to type them all up. But I have identified maybe about 10 sites.
So, excuse me, Olivia?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You know, we giving everybody 2 minutes to speak.
Okay. Did you get my letter? Did you get my letter? Did you receive that?
Yes.
About the background for TCB. And so when the lady said, just one question, what the lady said that, you know, that nobody took care of the park. And I think to some degree that was true maybe 10 years ago, but it has improved. Lieutenant Healy has done a fantastic job cleaning the park. And, you know, I think that we should rebuild it and do some, you know, some really great stuff here. And
Hello?
Can't hear her.
No, she got muted.
okay, I'm all done now. I'd like to give other people time to speak. But I just,
Olivia, before you go.
yes, sir.
Before you go, I would ask anybody from the committee who would like to make a comment or have a question for Olivia.
Yes,
Olivia.
President Chair, yes. Thank you, Olivia, and the lady that spoke before you for being advocates for that space. I am also a friend of Gulf Street Park. So I really know what it is to have a park that's, you know, set right in the middle of a community. So I'm hearing back and forth about the plan they want to go forward with, with housing, affordable housing, and also you continuing to keep that as a green space. But listening to the testimonies this far, I was listening at the young lady that lives there, and I'm looking at you all that's advocating right now. To me, I want to know, because I have a time over at Gulf Street trying just to get the people right there in the committee, right there, the community, to be dedicated to, that space for them, for their families, which some of them, they won't even let their children even go to the park no more because of, as what the lady was saying about, the drug activity and, all the negative things that are happening there. So I'm thankful to see you all as a friend of the park and the lady before you. But I'm also want to know, like, people of color who is actually standing up over there and fighting for this as well. You know what I mean? I see your face, but I'm like looking at others.
Let's look at the other. I think I want to let other people testify because I'm just one voice here and I've been here a long time. So let's give it to other people to testify. We have some families here that live in the neighborhood, and I think that they've been waiting to speak, so I like
Well,
to defer them.
excuse me, Miss Olivia, but what I'm asking you, because right now you're talking, and I don't know how this process is going to end up, you know, what others testify, are they able? But I'm asking you, you know, as, you know, a friend of the park, who else like in that community, you know, people of color that's standing up and going to, you know, steadily stay that, you know, they're going to take care of that part, you know, because there's trouble right now in of President Street. I'm just trying to find out what are, you know, your solid.
Yes. There's, I have other people here, Brian.
Having a debate again.
You streaming?
Yeah.
Please start streaming.
You know what? Okay. Although that is streamed and recorded as well.
I don't want to be on TV.
On
I'm done, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
On the list tonight to speak, they can speak, but we're not having random people.
Okay, okay. Well, let's go through the list, Brian. We'll go through the list and see who's here, okay?
Remember, and please tell them there is 2 minutes to speak.
Okay, great.
And we're speaking about the park.
Okay.
Okay. So who's next to speak?
Okay,
about-
I'll go next. Hi.
All right.
I
How are
don't,
you?
I can't see because I don't have my glasses on, but
Please state your name and address for the record. Then you can speak.
oh, okay. Well, my name is Felicia Brown, Flex on Kensington Street. Okay, that's everybody knows Flex. But I'm gonna tell you my addresses: 103, 93, 88, 51, and 75. I got 27 years on this block. And I did good and bad, but not for nothing. I mean, if you're gonna try to do something as far as fix the exterior, you gotta start with the interior. And the internal is community builders. You guys don't even have that together as far as like how they run in the apartments. You say you want new apartments, and my sister apartment is a piece of, you know what it is, because I don't talk like them. And I don't live over here anymore, but my granddaughter still go to this same daycare at the corner, advanced daycare, where Lisa don't even want the park. It's sad that she don't want the park, but you know she the one person that got them to stop shooting up that corner. She got that building in 2020, and they was killing people. But they respect her, and respect begets respect. That's why they don't shoot it up over there. They spend money, they respect them kids. You need to do something for them kids. Montessori got something. And why are you giving them all this bread? This is like a political financial movement. I know, pardon, that this ain't about helping the community. Oh, new apartments, this and that. You had the community builders residents building at the corner of Garden and Chapel, and you shut that down. What happened to helping them get jobs? What is it, GED ready? Sorry, because I graduated, but I know it is. My aunt worked there. But even before that, like, there's no respect because the people that run it over here don't even respect what it is. How you expect them? That's why nobody's out here, FYI. I don't live here anymore, but I'm here 3 times a week because my family is positioned. My name is in the cement over here.
Excuse me.
Okay, that's it.
That's my 2. Thanks for hearing me.
Thank you, Flex.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You got glasses?
Can you hear me?
I can't even drive.
Hello, so my name is Nia Campina Bacote, and I live on 167 Edgewood Avenue. And I'm here to respectfully ask the Board of Alders to not approve the plans that TCB currently has. If you've seen some of the project plans that they've shared, on page 2 of their project narrative, they write, quote, TCB has struggled with community relationships and perception within the neighborhood. TCB has continued to build on the significant strides made through the redevelopment of Kensington 1 to develop partnerships within the community. So TCB does demonstrate they have an understanding of their troubled past with our neighborhood. And I want to acknowledge that there have been positive impacts that TCB's previous development projects have done, and I thank you so much for those things that have been shared. But it is this second phase of development that seems to have neglected any sincere development of community partnerships with the residents here, myself included. If TCB means what they say when they write, quote, they hope to help the community achieve broader goals around the neighborhood revitalization, then what we as a community, as the residents of Kensington Street, Edgewood Avenue, Garden Street, Day Street, what we want is the preservation and revitalization of Kensington Park in its entirety. A park that has been historically neglected by the city of New Haven, with a splash pad that hasn't worked for years and trash cans that are overflowing with garbage. And the quote, lack of oversight and maintenance that TCB writes about and has been shared on this meeting tonight on page 6 of their project narrative is not on us as residents, but on the city. Because if the city of New Haven took care of Kensington Park like they do East Rock Park and Worcester Square Park, Kensington would have never been sold for $1 to TCB in the first place. So ultimately, I want to say I'm not here to be an enemy of TCB. I believe that we actually have central core values that are intersecting. We all want to see Dwight in the Kensington neighborhood revitalized and cared for. And again, TCB has put a lot of effort into these plans. But they write again on the last page that the city of New Haven, the New Haven Police Department.
You have a 2-minute rule.
Sorry. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone from the committee who would like to question or comment? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What did you say?
Next, you ready?
Okay, yes. Oh.
Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. My name is Lucretia Gill. I live at 66 Kensington Street. I'm going to be reading off of paper, so I'm sorry if I sound a little too formal, but here we go. So I just wanted to speak about a few different points. The first being the preservation of this playground. Looking at TCB's proposal for the alternative park spaces, they look good. Looking at the concepts, they look like they'll turn out to be something that is nice and enjoyable. But the issue, I guess the question that I have is whether or not they will actually come to full fruition as the concepts are stated, or is that just an idea? Like, what actual commitments do we have from TCB for what those spaces are definitely going to look like? Even though those plans look great, it also seems that in the process of carrying out those plans, Kensington Street itself takes a hit. While this entire neighborhood has struggled with a negative reputation over the years, Kensington Street in particular has struggled. I strongly feel that this street needs and deserves to have a dedicated space for life and goodness to be on display. Keeping and revitalizing the park that we have, having a unified gathering space in the neighborhood is very important to me, especially for this reason. Instead, TCB's proposed plan would take away a community leisure space and pack more people on an already full street. More housing is not what Kensington Street needs, and certainly not over and above this amazing green space that we currently have. My second thing that I wanted to address is a little bit more of a difficult one to approach, but it's the issue of segregation in New Haven. I appreciate that more affordable housing is absolutely necessary in our city. On one hand, having a new development here possibly does something good in the way of slowing down gentrification, but building more affordable housing in an already inundated neighborhood does nothing to combat issues of segregation in our city. I know that's not an issue for TCB to tackle on its own, it's not their sole responsibility, but the projects they propose could have a positive impact on affecting change. The current proposal does not seem to address the issue of segregation at all, however. I would be interested in hearing thoughts on this in particular, and why this same development can't be built elsewhere in the city. My final thoughts are regarding just the process by which this proposal came to be. As someone who attends management team meetings and spends a lot of time in my home and out and about in this neighborhood, the fact that I only found out about this development plan less than 2 months ago is very frustrating to me. I definitely have some misgivings about how much effort was put into informing the community. I understand that TCB went through the proper channels and did things by the book, and I'm not questioning that at all. But my question is, what links did TCB go to ensure the inclusion of the average community member in these plans as they were unfolding? This to me is a question of good faith. I wonder if TCB went door to door with detailed information about their plans before the time they did last week. Did they get truly representative input before moving forward with these plans? Again, my intention is not to accuse or denigrate. These are just genuine questions that I have.
Thank you. That's your 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Women? Any woman? Any other woman?
So is anyone else on the queue that's out there
Yes. How you doing?
Hold on one second, sir. Now,
Can you hear me?
Mr. Chair. Yep.
okay, is he on,
All right.
I won't know until he tells me his name, sir.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you, but state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, my name is Philip Burton. I live at 1361 Chapel Street.
Is he on the list? Hold on one second, sir.
I do not see Mr. Burton, but he's there now. So
Can you hear me?
Okay, so after that, go ahead, Mr. Burton.
Okay. I've lived in this neighborhood for about 5 years, but I grew up in this neighborhood. What's going on with this apartment and this park is very denigrating to this area. Whenever companies want to come in and make new development, the first thing they take is the beauty of the neighborhood. This park is part of the beauty of this neighborhood, regardless of what people say and regardless of the negativity that some people have about this park. This park is a beautifier for this area. I'm a taxpayer, and I demand that this park stays because of economics status. There's a building right on Norton Street that has quite a few units that could be utilized for housing instead of tearing down a totally beautiful park here that could be used for the beauty of this community. And know that apartment on Norton has enough units in it that it could be revitalized for this purpose. There's a lot of issues as far as the neighborhood. People, when I moved into this neighborhood, it was crazy. There was a lot of shootings and everything, but since I've been here, all of that has ceased because no one knows who I am. They think I'm someone that I'm not. And I appreciate that because they respect me and I respect them. And I don't allow them to go but so far because I'm not going to allow it to happen because I live in this neighborhood.
I think we lost him. He's muted. He's muted.
Need you to unmute.
He's muted.
Unmute.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yep.
so I want so excuse me, sir. So we have a 2-minute rule.
Yes, that's fine.
We're going to stick to that. So please wrap up your point. Are you for or against? Move on to the next person, please.
Okay. I'm totally against it because no matter what negativity people have to say about this park, I who believe in the preservation of Black communities, I'm for that. And this park is part of that because what you look around the country, there's no happiness around. This park is happiness to me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone from the
He wanted me to read this, but I don't even think I can do that.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on. No. If someone's on the queue,
This is
yeah. No more than come up and speak. We're not- Ask somebody that's on the queue to speak.
Right.
We will allow them.
He's cutting off. I couldn't hear.
What he's saying is if you sign up already, we have to go with the people who have already signed up. Are you someone who signed up to speak?
Okay, yeah, I'm signed up.
He signed up.
Your
Yeah.
name. What's your name?
So my name is Yaralis Depini. I live on 1349 Chapel Street, and I've been there for
How
around.
did you- Hold on, Mr. Peeny, because we have other people that signed up, and I don't see your name here. How did you sign up?
How did you sign up?
Yes, we signed Yarley's up this afternoon.
Where's that at?
Okay, go ahead.
Under Jane
You'll be
Cummings.
in the public test.
All right, so I live here on 1349 Chapel Street. I've been there for around 4 or 5 years now, And I think that the park should stay because it's not fair that my daughter has to go all the way across town to be able to enjoy, a nice water park or slides or swings. And I also think that this is a great spot where people could, just be gathered together or throw birthday parties or, things like that. And it's not fair that people have to go all the way across, the city for that. Also, I'm here representing the Latin community, and I'm also Black, so I speak for the Hispanics, for the Latin community, that it's not fair that we all have to, hang out in front of the building or, when we could just hang out here in the park, and it's like other people said that we need to fix, the internal first. We need to, I feel like we could fix, the park, and if we all come together, we'll be able to make the park great and a great spot to have kids here and have kids interacting with other kids. So that's all that I gotta say today, and I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you.
Josh, you're next.
Anyone from the
All right.
committee would like to have?
No, she left us,
So
Chair.
what is?
What?
Is it team fake now?
We're going.
What'd you say? You're breaking up for me.
Okay, what is your name, sir?
I'm
Get to the people that have actually.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm Josh Randall.
I didn't know what.
I sent.
Josh.
Yeah, I tried to sign up. I don't know if you got it or not.
Okay, Josh, let's go to the people that did, and then we'll come back to you guys. Okay.
I signed up. I signed up.
Okay.
I sent
There are
it.
other people that signed up. There's some people that signed up before, so we want to get them to go first. Okay. You'll get your chance, but let the people that signed up before. Okay.
Well, they say other people signed up, they're gonna.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Is
Can y'all hear
Beatrice
me?
Farwell, you're up.
Okay,
We can now.
can you hear me?
Yes,
We
please
can.
state your
Very
name
good.
for the record.
And thank you. I understand how hard this meeting is to manage, and I appreciate all of your hard work and patience to pull this together. I think I've seen a lot of the written testimony that you have already, and there's much that's very excellent, and I just wanted to add a few thoughts. If there was a trade to be made for parks, one of the things that would be very essential is that any new park would be within a quarter mile of this one, because as one of the speakers said, it doesn't make any sense to send someone that lives in this neighborhood all the way across town to Newhallville, or let's say down to Worcester Square's playground. If you're going to have parents and children be able to use parks in a realistic way with everyone's busy life, you've just got to be able to walk over to it. And the quarter mile radius is actually a pretty magic number. I think the ideas for the Newhallville parks are great, but I don't see that there's any reason you can't go ahead with that without damaging the Dwight neighborhood. Dwight, as you've seen in some other testimony, only has 2 public parks that are open all the time, this one and Day Street. And the proposal to fix up the Day and Chapel Park is important to do, but that doesn't trade for this one because it's a quiet side street, which is a perfect setting for a playground for children, just like the Worcester Street playground in Worcester Square Park, where all the swing sets and everything are. It's a quiet place, it's fenced in, and it's a better place for young children. And Worcester Square, I think, has 5 public parks plus other green space, community gardens, and including our giant 5-acre park. And Dwight, with many buildings that are built close together, close to the street, many apartment buildings, it's a very dense neighborhood with hardly any open space at all. So not only should you not lose any more open space in this neighborhood exactly, but if anything, we should be looking to add more. So the neighborhood characteristics really argue for keeping the park and also adding more. I also see that the proposed development isn't really appropriate to the character of the neighborhood. It's a building pressed to the side with a parking lot. It doesn't, this is the National Register District that was founded by the neighbors about 30 years ago. And not only removing the park takes away something characteristic of the neighborhood, but what's being proposed is also not characteristic. So that's all I would like to add for now. I've heard from many neighbors and attended many of their Zoom meetings. And I hope you look carefully at the issues of law about this. I'm anxious to see more information that hasn't been made public yet, that freedom of information requests have been made on. And so I think we also need some more time for the general public to be able to review all of the documents related to this. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for trying to keep the 2-minute rule alive. I would ask anyone from the committee have a question or comment? Seeing none, thank you again. We will move on to the next testimony on this particular item about the park.
Hang on one second. We have Laura Khan. Laura Khan.
Here I am.
Yes, please
Welcome.
state your name and address for the record. And I don't know if you're just coming on, but we have a 2-minute rule.
I heard it. Got it.
Okay, I appreciate it so much.
I'm Laura Khan. I live at 54 Cleveland Road, and I chair the New Haven Environmental Advisory Council. We're the city board that deals with environmental issues. We believe that every park is very important, including this one with its 25-ish trees. And this small retreat constitutes 75% of Dwight's shaded parkland. We submitted a map that our member Kristen Gordon prepared for you to show how little green space there is in this spot. You'll notice that this park is noted with a black dot. So if you look at the map we sent, you'll be able to see how little green space there is. And we support the proposed improvements to other green spaces in Dwight and New Hallville, but not instead of Kensington Park. And we support the development, the proposed development, but we think there definitely must be a more suitable location. And I can tell you that I have visited this park several times lately, and I understand that not everybody likes it in its current iteration. And yes, we have improvements to make. There should be less bad behavior in the park and more room for kids. But on Sunday, I saw a very proud new dad wheeling his tiny new baby daughter out of the park in her carriage. And we need this park for people like that. There is no substitute for a park with 25 mature trees. And this is a hidden gem. And I really hope you will keep it. And my daughter volunteered at the Parks Department headquarters last summer, and she learned that splash pads are really not fixable. It costs more money to repair them, to replace them. I hope we can put some other kind of play equipment in the park, because splash pads are kind of finicky. They break easily and they're hard to fix because they're cemented in. So I hope you'll consider that. And I hope you'll consider the full garbage cans. That is a problem every park has with the DPW, because I think they're not assigned routes, even though this one is on a street. And the police, I think, are also not assigned to the park. So I hope we can fix that too. And I realize that's more of a citywide thing, but I encourage everyone to work on all these things. And I thank you for your time and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much. I will ask, is there anyone from the committee like to speak or have a comment? Seeing none? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Who was next?
All right, Miss Kristen Gordon, if she is here. Ms. Gordon?
Kristen Gordon. Mrs. Gordon. She has to unmute herself.
Okay, Ms. Gordon seems to be having some trouble. So we'll go to Mr. Filippi.
State your name and address for the record. Mr. Filippi.
He's coming, give him a second.
Okay.
Mr. Sir Filippi.
Oh, I was muted, I'm sorry. I trust you can hear me now?
Yeah, please state your name and address for the record, please. And you have 2 minutes.
Yes, Dennis Sir Filippi, 223 Alton Avenue, New Haven, 06515. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. I want to preface my comments by thanking Serena for her service to the city. Wish her well in her new role. I'm a big fan. I think she knows that. However, on this one issue, I disagree. I don't support the development in this area, and I don't support it for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, green space. Once it's gone forever. There isn't going to be anything extra coming our way in New Haven in terms of green space if we get rid of what we already have. Secondly, I disagree. I disagree because I think the area has an opportunity for a renaissance in the coming years. Yale New Haven Hospital is committed to building the $1 billion neuroscience building not too far. I think that'll create a lot of traffic. There'll be more people in the area. Those people will want a green space to be able to go to. If the park is there, it'll afford an opportunity for more traffic in that area. That building, the neuroscience building, also comes, I think, 2,500 parking spaces. If the developer does go forward with the project, I'd rather see the people who live at this new development, rent or use 15 parking spaces in the buildings that have already been approved are going to be constructed, instead of creating more blacktop in the area. And then the other reason why I think why I disagree with the project is because I think the money that's involved here could probably be spent better elsewhere in the community. I think I heard that the project is going to cost $30 or $13 million for 15 units. It seems to be a lot of money spent on a small number of units. 15 families will benefit from the project, but hundreds will lose out on their green space in a public park. And I'd rather see that money if the builder is interested in helping the community to renovate some of the more derelict buildings in that area, of which there are many, and maybe even create an opportunity for home ownership for some of the long-term residents. Lastly, I want to echo the remarks made by Chris Ozick earlier in the session. I think all of our parks are in need of repair and more funding. And I think that sums up my comments.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
comments. Is there anybody from the committee have any questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you so much. Who was next?
All right. Ms. Parillo.
Yep. Hi, one moment.
Okay.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
I can please state your name and address for the record, and you have 2 minutes.
Yep, my name is Carmen Pajarillo. I live at 7 Hughes Place, New Haven, Connecticut, 06511. I'd like to start off the bat and say I am a medical student at Yale, and I'm also the traffic safety representative for the school. And I just wanted to voice my, I want to voice the fact that I don't agree with this purchase for many reasons. Off the bat, I want to say that I'm not doing this because I'm really partial to the trees. They're important, but it's because of the Black and brown lives that really matter in the context of green spaces in New Haven. So off the bat, we know that minorities are more likely to be hospitalized for asthma-related issues than white people. We also know that minorities, due to systemic issues, are going to have higher rates of obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, chronic diseases. And a lot of this can be not solved, but can be mitigated with the with green spaces. So by having more green spaces in New Haven, we can have more places where people can exercise, they can bring their kids, and it also helps the air pollution in New Haven, which I did not know this, but New Haven apparently is like the asthma capital of Connecticut. It has 65 per 10,000 people of asthma-related hospitalizations. For context, Hartford only has 35 per 10,000 hospitalizations. And I think that's crazy because, from my opinion, New Haven is a much smaller city than Hartford. I also think that it's just really important to keep green space. I really liked what Chris said earlier, that if we don't protect the green space, like, yeah, I get it that green spaces are used for sometimes dangerous behavior, but that's not really a solution to get rid of a green space. I don't know personally because I wasn't here 10 years ago, but I heard that, like, I live in Worcester Square. I heard that Lonzie Kenzie Park near me used to be just like a barren used to be a barren park. And now everyone walks their dogs there. There's families there, children go and play there. And if you told me that we were just going to get rid of that park because, yeah, sometimes there's dangerous activity there, I don't think anyone in my neighborhood would agree. So I just want to say that I live in Worcester Square, and I'm so grateful that there's so many green spaces in Worcester Square. I use them every day. And I think that having access to green space is something that every New Haven resident should have access to. And I think keeping Kensington Playground furthers that ideal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your testimony. Is there anyone from the committee have any question or comment? Seeing none, thank you so much.
All right, let's hear from Mr. Randall now. Come on up. You guys unmute over there.
Right, muted. Rather than go to Josh, we want to go to Miss Rosetta Mack, who is on our list. Is that all right?
Yes, just 1 second. We have one more before you. One more before you. We have one more before you.
One more? Okay, hold on. All right, let me pull in. Okay, hold on over there. We're gonna pull in Mr. Stevenson. 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Ms. Mack. We're gonna come to you next.
1 second, Ms. Mack.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Please state your name and address for the record. And you
Yes,
have
my
2
name is David Stevenson. I live at 10 Whiting Court, Northford, Connecticut, 06472. I serve as the president and CEO for the Central Connecticut Coast YMCA. I have the great privilege of working with YMCAs from the towns of Fairfield all the way up to Madison, including Bridgeport, Connecticut, and New Haven, Connecticut. My office is at 1240 Chapel Street, right on the corner of Chapel and Howe, the original 1932 YMCA. So I'm here to speak on behalf of the need for affordable and supportive housing. We are the largest provider of affordable and supportive housing in the state of Connecticut, serving almost 400 apartments, almost mostly in Bridgeport. We also work very closely with the community builders. Now, I've been the CEO here for approximately 10 years, and the community builders came in and did a masterful renovation job on our entire property. They now have about 129 apartments. They run their operation very, very well. So I'm advocating for the need for more housing, and also to advocate for the community builders who we consider a great partner in trying to end chronic homelessness. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Do anyone have a question or comment for Dave? Seeing none, we will have Ms. Mack.
Okay.
Thank you. State your name and address for the record. You have 2 minutes.
Rosetta Mack,
Speak up.
40 Kensington Street, New Haven, Connecticut. Um, the park is nice. It's been going on real good. At one time it wasn't, but it's been nice with the kids. They coming more and more out and playing instead of they do the little football, little basketball, and then on a I have speech problems, so you have to bear with me what I'm saying. Um, I've been living here 52 years, and I seen things come and see things go. But the park is good. At one time, it was monkey bars in it, and then they tore that out and put a water park where the water comes out and everybody play in the water, and so it's been good. Like I said, I've been living across the street, exactly across the street, 42 years. No, wrong. 52 years. I was 4 years old and I'm 56. So that's how that went. But I never had, I it's been good. I really didn't. Once you see these kids out here, they play. It'd be a lot of kids out here, but they're trying to get it back to where it's at. But they don't need to do a park. I mean, they don't need to do a complex. That's like far. What they say. Torturing. Otherwise, what I'm saying, if a lot of they have, what you said, 15 people living here. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. You just need the park to be in here, right here, and let the kids play.
And be safe.
And they say more there than there will be
On Chapel.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Chapel.
On Chapel, what is it? Orchard, and so they can come and play right there. And lately, they've been doing good. I mean, real good. Where I see kids, even at the they had a little pizza party, and it was a lot of people out here. And it's been
That's time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. You have a good day. Whoever you Wow.
Is there anyone else on the?
We have a few more.
Okay.
We'll alternate. Let's go to Ms. Santiago.
Okay.
We'll come to you, Jai. Ms. Iris Santiago. Ms. Iris Santiago. You need to unmute Ms. Santiago if you wish to speak.
Hi, everyone. I know it's been a long night, and thank you for your patience. I want to introduce myself. I'm Iris Santiago. I live at 861 Middletown Avenue, North Haven, Connecticut. I've been with the Community Builders for 5 years now, working hand in hand with the YMCA, with the connections, and with the community at whole in providing affordable housing and getting the resources to support the residents' need. I think that we need to acknowledge that affordable housing is one of our shortages here in Connecticut, and all over. And I think the importance of creating homes for the families are critical, along with the support that TCB is going to be providing. I think we need to acknowledge also the fact that we are going to be putting up more parks. If you look at the plans for the Garden Street, it's going to be a beautiful park. The one on Day Street as well, where it's probably going to be more visible and safer for the children. The staff and I, we do walk that park just about every single day. It is underutilized, and there's a reason why. And we recognize that there's also activities in that park that are not favorable, that are not welcome, and is not safe for our residents or for their children. So we are asking for the aldermen to please pass this resolution so that we can accomplish two things: provide affordable housing and at the same time creating more green space. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Do anyone have any questions or comments from the committee? Seeing no more, seeing no hands, we're going to move on to Josh. Thank you.
Here it goes. Hello, my name is Josh Randall. I'm a PhD student at Yale Ecology and Evolutionary Biology. I live at 260 Dwight Street. I've measured most of the trees, actually all the trees on this property, and analyzed how they're impacting the environment surrounding it, and compared it against the planned proposal that TCB has provided. Really quick, here's a graph. Hopefully you can see it. The blues are the current trees, and the oranges are the proposed trees. What that means is that in general, this park is providing 30 times the amount of impact that the proposed park will have. This includes an areas like water intercepted, runoff removed, sequestration of carbon storage, pollution removal, SO2, O3, NO2, CO, leaf biomass. Across the board, it is much, much better to have this park here. The park there will be much smaller. It'll have much smaller trees. It's going to have smaller biomass. Overall, it's going to be a less effective park. In addition to that, I'm just trying to get really quick right here. So this is a graph based off of, what?
What you can do for us, if you can send that to the city, you can send that to our department. You can have it for record.
Yeah, I did send it, but I'm just making sure people can see it now. So you can just see the impact that this park has right now on this community. And this is a graph that I also produced. It's based off of data from Hoffman 2020 that includes New Haven information. So red line districts D, which includes Dwight for black poor neighborhoods in the 1930s, are significantly hotter all around the year. In general, we're almost 1.5 degrees hotter on average in this community versus the richest communities in New Haven, which are up to 2 degrees colder. In addition to that, I know that the Environmental Advisory Council wanted to show you a map, but here's another one that I made. This is NDVI. This tells you how much vegetation difference you have throughout the communities. That big white streak in the middle of that screen is actually Kensington. You can see from outer space how impactful this park is right now. So that's important to know. The park that they're planning will not have that, and more importantly, that park, I actually have 4 years experience in park development, and I know that their plan isn't going to actually contribute to all the different requirements that parks require. So since there's only going to be one park and it's only going to have enough space for one group of kids, it's not going to meet Consumer Product Safety Commission regulations that require you to have separated areas for different age groups and different kinds of abilities. So you're going to only have kids there, and they're not going to have the kids that are older to be able to have anywhere to go. In addition to that, you're not going to have enough distance between where the play space is and the road, and so you're just missing out on all the different regulations. You're missing out on the depth that this park has right now. You're missing out on so many different things just by doing this. And as has been mentioned repeatedly, this city is super, super segregated. Just putting in additional housing here doesn't fix any of that. New Haven is the 97th most segregated city in the country, and putting another a part of affordable housing right here doesn't fix any of that. We need to have a more holistic view, but destroying this park right now doesn't do anything for anybody. It makes people sicker, and it makes people have fewer options to breathe. I tried to say a lot. I'm sorry, but hopefully you got a lot of that. Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the testimony. Is there anyone from the committee have a question or comment for John? Thank you so much.
All right, we're gonna go to Ms. Crowley and then back to the park.
And I know there's a lot of testimony, so at some point I'm going to have Serena come back up and speak to some of these things that's been tossed out there just for clarification, okay? At some point. So thank you for hanging around. Thank you so much.
Ms. Roshana Crowley, if you are, you're here if you're ready.
Sure.
Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 2 minutes.
My name is Rachna Crowley. I live at 63 Stonebridge Drive in Florence, Massachusetts. I am an employee of the Community Builders. I'm development director. I have worked in affordable housing development for 15 years, and it's my passion and my work. I've worked for the Community Builders for that whole time and worked alongside Serena for many years in this work in New Haven, and also worked personally on the West Village redevelopment project that Mr. Dave Stevenson spoke about. I want to commend the conversation this evening and just reiterate that the Community Builders, we are interested in the same things that everyone else is speaking about so passionately this evening. We have spent many years trying to come up with the financing in order to improve the units at Kensington Square 2. We were able to do it for Kensington Square 1, but we recognize that the needs of the residents' units who live, 100 residents, 96 units who live in Kensington Square 2, they really need better housing. And in order to be able to get the financing together to make that work, this work with Serena for several years now was in support of being able to make that happen. So I want to put that out there because, and also just to say that it's over $30 million and it's to improve over 96 units with deep rehab to those existing buildings and units. And those improvements, along with the new building and a park on Garden Street with playgrounds that are safe, community gardens that are safe. It is a safe street and it is tucked away from traffic, as well as a new park working with the city on Day Street to be programmed, a new parklet on Chapel Street, and better management offices for the community builders that are more visible, where we can put eyes on the street, on Chapel Street. All of this is to be a partner and improve Dwight Street and be a partner with everyone, with the management team and the city in this work. And we are grateful for the opportunity to do this work and to serve the city of New Haven. And we believe in catalytic work. And we think that this plan that we've been working so closely with Serena on will catalyze and be part of all the steps that need to happen to move this neighborhood forward and address issues of crime and safety, and beautification and green space and trees, which are all our goals as well. So thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you so much. The question is there anyone from the committee has any question or comment? Seeing none, thank you once again for your testimony. I guess we'll be going out to Patricia.
Nope, you're. Good evening. It's a beautiful night in the neighborhood here at Kensington Park. And I don't live in the neighborhood anymore. I'm in the Heights. But
They need your name and address for the record, Ms. Kane.
Oh, yes. Patricia Kane, 731 Quinnipiac Avenue, New Haven. So this issue affects everyone in the city. It's not just about one park in one neighborhood. It's the power of a small group to take a community asset and trade it. I believe the city does better when it listens to its residents and when it listens to what its neighborhood wants. This neighborhood clearly needs and wants this asset. We don't have to go into the studies that show the connection between green space and mental health in urban areas. It's already been documented. And other people have spoken to physical health, such as asthma issues. The fact is, the people who live here know what they want. A good government will listen to them. They are the ones who will live with whatever you decide.
That's right.
I would also suggest that you look at the legal issues that may not have come up to your committee yet. The ordinance says you can't swap property unless it's for the same size and same value. So I think you got a big hurdle there. And I would really suggest, I know a lot of work has gone into this and it's hard for people to change their minds, but the people have spoken. And they are the ones who take ownership and stewardship of this lovely space. And I urge you to come and see it before you decide. Thank you.
Destroy it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Speech impediment.
I should have known. I should have known Boston.
You want to speak?
I love it. Asshole. No, I talk like a New Yorker.
I can't hear.
Are you on to testify tonight?
Yes, I am here to testify, and my name is on the list.
Okay, please do so.
Thank you. My name is,
Name and
yes, thank you. My name is Pat Wallace, and I live at 66 Edgewood Avenue in New Haven. I've lived there for 40 years, and I've lived 2 blocks from this park for that length of time. I'm not sure that anybody has said that the police department in New Haven did a really important thing in this park. When
She's frozen. She's frozen. She's frozen. She's frozen. Oh boy. Lucas. Ow. She's frozen. Can anyone hear her? Can you
I don't
her?
hear her, Mr. Chair. I don't hear her. It's just
Yeah,
dead.
she's frozen. She's frozen. I don't.
Is there someone who is in line to speak
Yeah.
on the list? Daniqua? I think Daniqua signed up.
Daniqua?
Hi, no, I actually didn't sign up. I think someone else may have signed me up. But I am proud to speak to some of what happens in Kensington Playground. My name is,
Yeah. Your name and address for the record, and you have 2 minutes.
yes, sir. Thank you so much, Elder. My name is Daniqua Washington. I live at 588 East Street. And I am the Good News and Social Engagement Pastor at Elm City Vineyard Church. And basically each Sunday for the last 3 or so months, we've been having a wonderful time of gathering for church service every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And during that time period, we've been really able to, just convene and be in fellowship with some of the folks that are in the community. And I understand what you guys have been saying about what it means for this place to be considered kind of hard up, where people do drug deals and go and do drugs or illicit activities in the park. But one thing that I've noticed as a faith leader, as a religious leader, is that our being there has really shifted the community and shifted what people tend to do there from a week to week basis. People who you might consider as like quote unquote shady characters tell us that, hey, we're really glad that you're here. We're glad that you guys have been praying for us. And we have also received a lot of reports of people being thankful that we have been praying for them and have prayed for them out of out of being able to see what they're experiencing and what the neighborhood actually needs. And so it's been just a blessing to be able to fellowship and to invite people from outside of the neighborhood into Kensington, which is a working class neighborhood. And it's just a very special time. So it's just super important to us to be able to really give the folks who come to us each Sunday this opportunity to speak about why this park is important. And the kids have really been telling us that they want to keep the park. They think it's important, and they wish that the well-being would be considered more than being able to profit off of a building. So that's it.
Thank you so much. Is there any questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Who's next on the list, Mickey?
Ms. Horton has fixed her audio, so we'll bring her in.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please state your name and address for the record. 2 minutes.
Hi, this is Kristen Gordon. I live at 111 Bristol Street. I'm also a member of the Environmental Advisory Council to the city, and I'll keep it very brief, but wanted to make mention of my support for keeping the park. It's been said already tonight that it is, next to impossible to restore green space. It's not something that can really happen in a dense urban neighborhood. And although those other spaces, deserve to and would really benefit from, some extra love, so would Kensington. And I want to emphasize that Dwight neighborhood actually, and you can see based on the map that I submitted with the letter, Dwight has less access to green space and any kind of natural beauty that makes New Haven so special than any other neighborhood. It has less access to green space than any neighborhood other than the Longworth neighborhood, which has access to the wharf. So that's why I believe it's so important. In the space it is for the community health and the biological community. Thank you.
Thank you. Testimony. Does anyone have any questions or comments from the committee? Thank you again.
All right, Mr. Rankins, give him a second to populate.
And we're gonna have
we have one more. All right, Mr. Rankins, you're up.
He's on mute.
Mr. Rankins, you will need to unmute.
I have no testimony.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, Mr. Rankins. We see we gotten Ms. Wallace back. So let's see if Ms. Wallace can finish testimony.
Yeah.
Since it's unstable, but we'll give it a try.
Okay.
Hello?
You're up.
Okay,
Yes.
so Pat Wallace, 66 Edgewood Avenue.
You
So
have 2 minutes.
the park was a problem at a point in time, but through action by the city and especially collaboration between city departments, the park turned around. And I think we need to just keep that in mind. The reputation takes longer, but this park is a community asset. I want to just point out that there's about to be a lot of construction around here. The hospital is going to be tearing down a garage, building 2 garages. There's going to be incredible noise and air pollution here. And Antillian Manor will be redeveloped as well. There's going to be construction all around. The park is a peaceful place, and the neighborhood deserves to keep it. During all that construction, there will be increased health risks for the people in this neighborhood. Jamming more low-income housing into this block doesn't make sense to me from a health perspective. I spent most of my working life as an advocate for affordable housing and supportive housing. I am all for that, but I don't think we need to give up park space to do that. I do think that it is not, I think there's an old expression, nothing about us without us. And Kristen Anderson did say to me that community builders went to the DCMT, but they didn't ever reach out to the neighborhood. They didn't leave.
Oh. We lost her, unfortunately. Oh, you're back. Okay, unmute.
Can't hear you.
You have to unmute, Pat. You're
All
on
right,
mute again.
thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you.
Okay, very good.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone from the committee that has a question or comment to Pat? All right, I see no questions or comments for Pat. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you very much.
All right.
How many more?
We only have one more here, and that, well, wait a minute, while Ms. Martin is there, can you give us your name and address for the record? Martin, you didn't do that when you spoke. Would you be kind enough to do that?
Olivia Mortson, 228 Dwight Street, New Haven, Connecticut. And I've been here 32 years, believe it or not.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So,
All right,
you know,
so our final, go ahead. We only have one speaker left, Ms. Chair. But go ahead, your show.
So before, thank you so much. Before, I would ask that Serena come up, right? Because we heard a lot of testimony, right? We heard a lot of testimony tonight, you know, a lot of testimony. For the committee's sake, I want her to be able to respond to some of these things that have been before us.
Thank you, Alder. I just want to say that I've heard the concerns in our last, and actually some of the public hearings that we had with the Park Commission and around the concerns about the park. I do know that we have heard what they've said. We did do, just in response to some of the questions that I heard, we did a very, very in-depth sweep of properties across the city in terms of parks, and probably why it took us so long to get this before you is because we were working that through with the Parks Commission. So in terms of whether or not we looked at availability of space across the city, we did that very thoroughly. In terms of the actual project itself, the $30 million that we refer to for this project will not just develop a building of 15 units. It is actually a renovation of the existing units that are at Kensington, on the Kensington site, that are in disrepair. They need to be renovated. And this is a full.
Say that again, please.
The $30 million that the total project cost will include 96 renovations of units that are already on the site. Those units that have been there for 50 years and in disrepair, needing upgrades, needing changes to the units. So that is going to happen with the existing units. The new building will include 15 additional units that will be new. So it will be all inclusive in terms of the 30 million, and we're impacting more than 100 units as opposed to just 15. I can't express I can't express my feelings in terms of trying to utilize parkland, but we put in place two newly renovated.
Oh, we lost the audio, Serena.
Yeah. Tell them to put theirs on mute, please. Tell Olivia to
I
put her.
got you.
Knew it was going to happen at some point, including those that are coming up at the Antillian Manor, including the ones that are going to the units at Fort Kensington and Dwight Gardens. This is an entire transformation of that neighborhood, and they are going to preserve affordable units that we so desperately need here, as well as create opportunities for new ones. We've worked really hard on this. We've heard all of the concerns. We've tried to modify the plan to the best of our ability and still get a pretty decent plan out of this thing. The impact that will happen in terms of park space in other neighborhoods, the neighborhood, the swaps that we're doing in New Hallville. New Hallville is the second area that has the least amount of parkland in the city, particularly in our neighborhoods. We're building right next to our new development that we on Thompson Winchester, a beautiful park for that neighborhood. They don't have any. And so part of this swap will make that happen. We've thought it through very thoroughly. And for those questions around the development and how it will impact some lives. And that's what we do as a department. The Parks Commission clearly does what they do. We're not responsible for how they maintain parks, but we are working together to try to make the best out of this one, or these new ones that will come online. If you have any other questions directly related to the swap, I can answer them for you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments from the committee for Serena?
So you're gonna tear paradise to put up a parking lot, huh?
No, sir. Hate parking lots. Actually.
No, it's not gonna be a parking lot. So we have one more, I believe, on the queue to speak.
Yes, that would be Madam Pratt.
Thank you.
Okay.
Taisha Walker Myers, 225 Winthrop Avenue. So I am actually the alder of the area, Dwight West River. And the park is in the Dwight portion of the neighborhood that sit directly close to Ward 2. And I'm gonna be really brief. I'm gonna give it 2 minutes because I actually been involved in this process from the beginning. And I just want to clear a couple of things up because I was sitting here listening to the testimony and I really appreciate everyone's passion around the park and around the things that the neighborhood actually need, around the neighborhood being a working class neighborhood and home ownership. And we're actually developing a plan for the Dwight West River neighborhood that includes home ownership. But when this project first started, everyone was having communications with the alder directly next to me because they believed it was in Ward 2. And the process started then. And then I got involved and I actually, and I can speak to it because I did it myself. I went and I leafleted Kizidon Street and I found some people that didn't want the park. It was some people that thought the park was okay, but it wasn't adequate for kids to play in for some of the reasons that some people mentioned. And I went to the Parks Department, tried to get the splash pad fixed and all of those things. And now we're talking about adding more affordable housing units. And we know we have a serious need for affordable housing in the city. If we look around from the potential project we're going to do, going back towards downtown, you have a lot of market rate apartments, and that's all good, I guess, but we need affordable housing in the neighborhood so that the whole entire neighborhood is in market rate. They're going to put $80,000 into the park on Day Street, which is 1 block away. So they won't have to go all the way to Scantlebury Park, which some have said to have an adequate park, because that park is going to be upgraded, and the park on Garden Street, which is about another block, depending on how you count it, 2 blocks away. So they will have green space there. And the West River end, down by Bernard School, has some different green space too right now until those things are developed. And as the elected official for the actual area and being here since 2011 and seeing the different things that transformed in a park when kids couldn't play in a park for various reasons, then the street got lit up with a light that made it, made people able to see more at night. The park is pushed back. And I know it's really hard to change things. And community builders haven't always been a good partner. Someone said that already. They did some good things, but some things they didn't do right. And it's our responsibility to push them to do right. But we have been at every management team, because I go, for, I want to say about 18 months. And I know everybody can't come because they have to work, but so do I, and a number of other people. And I just think that we need to really think about this affordable housing, because we're doing all these maps and graphs and all these things about what's going on in the city, but we need to look at that too. Because if we don't have affordable housing, and after December, when a moratorium come up on evictions and stuff, people aren't going to have many places to go because they can't afford to live down Dwight Street down that end. They can't afford those rents. They can't afford to pay $1,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment when they have families. So, as far as the board, we've been pushing for affordable housing, and parks are really important. We need green space, and health is important. But at this time, we have an opportunity to offer all three of those things. We're going to have a green space that they're going to invest in. We're going to have affordable housing. We're going to have a much safer and better community because we're all working together. And, I'm so glad to see people in the park in the last month, maybe month and a half or 2 months in the park. It's really good to see people wanting to take ownership. But for the last 18 months, when we've been talking about this process, I haven't heard from anybody. Now, you might have been, and don't unmute because I'm talking. So let me finish, and then you can go. I don't know. You could have been having a conversation with somebody else, and that is fine because I work with the order from Ward 2 and I work with the order from Ward 24 because our areas all connect. But it was ample opportunities to have this full out discussion about what we're going to do in that park. So I'm in favor of it, and I'm asking the committee to vote favorably for this development to ensure these 15 units are built and also take care of the units that's already built. It's not just enough to have affordable housing. We have to have good affordable housing. Someone said phase 1 went well. We're trying to take it over for phase 2. That's all I got to say. And I hope the committee really weigh, and I know you will, but really weigh. We need affordable housing in the city like never before. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I don't think there is no more testimony that's on file, so I'm going to close the public portion of this meeting. Going once, going twice. Is there anyone from the public like to speak to this item? Going 3 times.
I move to close the public section.
Second.
All in favor? We got to go by a vote. Alder Rodriguez.
Yes.
Alder DeCola.
Yes.
Alder Douglas.
Yes.
Alder Marks.
Yes.
Now that we have set the public portion,
You're in deliberations, Mr. Chair. You have two items there.
Yeah.
You still need to act on the first one.
I
Yes.
move item 1.
Thank you. Thank you.
I second on item 1.
Okay. By a vote. By a
Oh,
vote.
no, got discussion first, sir.
Discussion.
Mr. Chair, this is Alder DeCola. I think this is a great opportunity to Yale to support the city and to support street calming and public safety in that neighborhood. I think this is a good move, and I'm going to vote in favor of it. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I also, as we in discussion, support this wholeheartedly with the sidewalks. To me, it's a no-brainer. It's an opportunity to continue to bridge, partnering with the university on how we do things in the city. So I most definitely support it as well. So if any more discussion need to be taken, willing to hear it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Alder Rodriguez.
So I also agree for the sidewalk. I also would like for them to take into consideration to look around more areas that may need assistance with sidewalks, not just let this one be the beginning. So, and they bring the funding to the table that is much needed to improve safety. So I want that to be on the record.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. If there's no more comments.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Mr. President. Also, I am in favor of that. Like you said, it's just good, the start of a relationship with Yale, doing great things like this in our city. Yes, I will also just, in the future, would like for this to be, a start of them, making a tour through the whole city, and especially in underserved neighborhoods. So it's a great thing. I'm all in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. So I will entertain a motion to move this favorably.
You already have the motion, sir. You're just ready to vote if there's no more discussion.
Okay, if there's no more discussion, all is in favor. This is a roll call vote, considering we all in Zoom now. Starting with me, I vote yes. Alder DeCola.
Yes.
Alder Marks.
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez.
Yes.
Alder Douglas.
Definite yes.
I entertain, thank you. We find it favorable. All's in favor. Thank you, Yale University, for the sidewalks. Now, item 2 is about affordable housing in the park.
I move item 2.
I second.
Discussion.
Mr. Chair, this is Alder DeCola. I think this is a great opportunity for affordable housing in that area. It's been pretty depressed with them refurbishing the 96 units that needed a major upgrade. Yes, the park is an important thing, but we in the city of New Haven have to take the leadership in affordable housing as other suburbs towns choose not to. So we have to be the bigger of the groups of other cities and towns that we are willing to fight for the Black and brown families that need a fair shake. And it's very disappointing that other towns and municipalities will not step up to the plate like we do. So I'm in favor of this, even with the opposition from these folks, and I get it, but we need to help these families. It's very important that we show leadership in the city of New Haven in this board on these issues of affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Chair,
President, can I go next?
hold on all the marks, because you all, we just need to remind you all that Serena had asked that you substitute the update version for the one that's originally submitted. So
I make a friendly motion to my motion to add the amendment.
Second.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So if that's okay with you, Mr. Chair, and what for you is the substitute version, and so you can continue your conversation.
Thank you. Alder Marks.
Yes, so Mr. Chair, listening to all of the heartfelt testimonies, I mean, this is really not easy. You all know that I love the park. I believe in the green space. I believe in, families having somewhere to go. They just, came together beautifully. But like just on yesterday, I'm thinking about, the Affordable Housing Commission that we appointed people. We know, I done surveys myself. I understand, the Friends of Kensington, they did their, surveys. They have people that's coming forth where they even had went out and did testing on the trees and, talking about, the rate of asthma, what all it will cost. I'm looking at it both ways, I think it's a win-win situation myself. It's really hard. I would hate to see them lose the park. But as the young lady, the first one that got up and she was talking about, is it going to be lives or is it going to be places for people to live? And after hearing President, with the last final words, which was made very good sense. I am definitely favorable for it because I believe, like I said, housing is an important thing, and that's one of the things at the top of my list as a priority. I want to see people, you know what I mean, be able to live in places where they can afford and not, be evicted, kicked out, and all. And this here community is very old. And yes, I know people over there. And even though they say that things are getting better, because just thinking about parks that's nearby, Day Street is like a block away. And you said Garden Street, they are close, you know what I mean? But like, different people testifying about Wooster Square. Who knows, in the future, maybe something can come up. So, I mean, the green spaces are important, but at this time, this moment, we are in the crisis with housing. So I will, even though those people, they touch my heart, really. But I'm favorable for, I say the housing, okay? Thank you.
Any more testimony, any more discussion on this?
Yes.
All the
Hi, yes. Good evening, everyone. So,
Good evening.
as it stands, I've lost plenty of nights behind this situation. A lot of nights. Given the fact that I myself am a recipient and a holder of COPD myself, with breathing issues that set even in my home. I appreciate the green space. I don't want to see the park go, but I do believe at this point, as President Walker has said, and it has been proven, we are in dire needs of affordable housing. I've seen too many developers come into New Haven and they're posturing these elaborate places to live that we, brown people, cannot afford. And yes, we have a beautiful neighborhood in Ward 2. It's the white neighborhood. It's precious, it's dear to my heart. But I think that it's more important that we do go ahead and do this project. We got this money coming in, we need to utilize it. I think it's going to brighten up this whole area with them refurbishing the places that they have already. Taking a lot of consideration. It's going to hurt me to see the park go, but at this point, it's not standing or doing us any justice. We have great space, chapel and day. We even have a huge field over there at the school, at the Amistad School, that's not being utilized, that could be incorporated in that in some kind of way. Maybe not legally, but illegally. But we need to take that into consideration also. But I'm really glad to see that people have come together on this issue. Maybe we should come together more in the future. So I'm going to support moving forward with this project. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Oliver Rodriguez.
Yes, so I too am support of the project of affordable housing. When Serena spoke and said that we are getting 15 new units, that's wonderful. But what excited me more is that we are going to have 96 families have their homes renovated, and they are in need of that. And that is going to warm folks' hearts that have been there. So that is going to be a push. I too was excited to see how many people came together, and I hope they continue that. As we are all speaking, I too looked at the map, driving, walking, and biking the park to Day Street. It's 4 minutes away, and I hope that the energy that everyone that was at this park tonight, adopt that park in day and make it so beautiful that everyone's going to come together. So I too approve for the affordable housing, much needed in New Haven. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, committee, for real discussion. Thank you, because it was a different kind of night, right? I've never been in a meeting like that where we did live streaming, right? Public testimony from the park. I think it's amazing, right? Like through this pandemic, it's stretched us and has pulled us in different ways. But once again, leadership does that to you, right? Leadership puts you in different positions than you can ever think of. I call it new rooms. It puts us in new rooms. You know what I'm talking about? Some of those rooms are prayer rooms to get us through these nights. But I think, and I'm happy to hear the community stand up for what they believe and how they, stand on their position. And I know that we had one. We had one at the very beginning of this journey about affordable housing, right? One of our agendas, one of our strongest agendas was like creating affordable housing. We created a task force in reference to affordable housing. These things we understood to be hard, but these things we understood had to be done, right? And, for total transparency, I lived on 1349 Chapel Street, right? I get it, right? I get it, right? I get it. I know where the park is at. I know how the park has been good, but also I know how the park has been bad, right? And my thing is we have an opportunity, and just like Alder Rodriguez said, right? I don't know if a lot of them even know this part of it, that the 96 units will be refurbished along with the 15 units. So at this time, I think we should move forward. I think we should move forward favorably, right, with this project. And I entertain, I guess we got to vote now, right? I entertain a motion of moving it.
So you've got the motion for the substituted version for you. Just to make it clean, I think what you should do is go ahead and vote first on the motion to substitute.
Okay.
And then, so we'll do two votes and then on the item itself.
Okay.
So the first motion is already on the floor. So you just
Okay.
need to take the roll call for vote.
Okay. So Alder DeCola.
Yes.
On the amendment. Alder Marks.
Yes.
Alder Douglas.
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez.
Yes.
Now we off the substitute amendment. Now we're going to vote on the item favorable, moving it forward, affordable housing.
Yes. Need a motion. Need a motion on that.
I mean, Sal is.
All right. I'm sorry, Alder DeCola.
He's ready. He's ready. Sal is Alder.
I make a motion to move it forward in favor.
I second.
Okay, so it's a roll call. Let's do this roll call. Alder Douglas.
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez.
Yes.
Alder Jill Marks.
Yes.
Alder Sal DeCola.
Yes.
Okay, so it's unanimous. Thank y'all for thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. And thank y'all for coming out tonight and supporting this. It wasn't easy. Thank you so much. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
I got to be a roll call. I wish I could
There
say
you go.
all
Nope. Let's go.
There got to be a roll call, people. One more
Discussion?
time. Absolutely not.
Yes. Discussion. Thank you, Miss. I'm serious. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This was an excellent meeting, and thank you so much. Discussion was lively, but good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Alder Douglas.
Yes, I'd like to reiterate to everyone involved. Let's keep this momentum going. We still have a lot of gems in this community, in this city, that we all need to come together on and work on. Not at the last minute. We need to do this today, starting today. We need to keep this momentum going. There's a lot of issues and a lot of concerns coming up, and we all need to pull together. We are one city.
Absolutely. There's no two ways about it. And we,
Thank you.
And we want everyone to be included in the process.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank
Thank you, colleagues.
Night.
Not yet, all Rodriguez. Y'all have to vote on the motion that you delayed.
Okay, sorry, sir.
So
That's my fault. Go ahead.
I'm gonna take the roll call now. Alder Douglas,
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez,
Yes.
Alder Jill Marks.
Yes.
To go home, Alder South Dakota.
Yes.
Thank y'all so much. Really greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Al.
Yes.
Good night,
Y'all the
everyone.
best.
Good night. God bless.
Alder Wingate, thank you for being the new chair.
Listen, man. Listen. That's all your fault. I'm here though. I'm here. Blessings. Blessings.
God keep you all.